Well, good evening and welcome to 247.tv, Bulls TV. We're here once again at Bartercard Odsal. It's round 21 of the Betfred Championship, and it is an all-Yorkshire affair here under the Odsal Stadium floodlights. It's West Yorkshire hosting South Yorkshire, the Bradford Bulls against Doncaster. Bradford second in the table, Doncaster just inside the playoff places in 6th place. It promises to be a real thunderous occasion under the Odsal lights. Well, before we go through the team news, earlier on we caught up with the respective head coaches of Bradford and Doncaster. It's Richard Horne and Brian Noble, and here's their pre-match thoughts. Brian Noble, another big Friday night game. It's the second place Bradford hosting 6th place Doncaster. What are your expectations ahead of this game this evening?
Yeah, they bring a lot of challenges to Doncaster. You look at their form over the last few weeks, it's been really good. They play a brand of football that you've got to be really careful on. You know, they're expansive, they take risks, they generally comes off for them, so we're going to have to be on our mettle.
When both sides met at the Eco Power Arena back in June, it was a physical encounter that really went the distance. What makes Doncaster tricky opponents?
Well, they've got some good players. That always helps, and they know what they're doing. They're well coached, and they can score a try from anywhere at any time. So that's the danger that Doncaster provide this evening. But I think we do some good things as well. So we've got to reinforce what we've been doing really well.
Two changes to the team, George Tafua and Chris Hill coming in for Kieran Gill and Aribi Doro. First up, new signing Chris Hill. What does he bring to the club and your side this evening?
Well, his CV certainly stacks up as an England international and been there and done that, but I think he's enthusiastic to show his wares for the Bradford Bulls. I think his leadership qualities and the quality of his play will be there for all of us to see. He's a very good player.
And in the modern game, Brian, where players are putting the bodies on the line a hell of a lot more and it's more physical and more intense, how important is it that Chris Hill is a player who can play in those forward positions and do the full 80 minutes?
Yeah, he's not on his own. He'll need to work with all the others, and I think we've created quite a bond already. But I expect him to lead as well. You know, when things are not quite going our way, he won't go missing. It's important we manage him well because he's new to the team, but I'm really excited about what he might bring.
George Tafua's not featured since Toulouse away back in March. Is he chomping at the bit, raring to go out there and make up for lost time this evening?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a word with him through the week saying you don't have to be the world's best this evening, but you certainly need to be good. You know, Kieran Gill will be vying to get back into the team, and so there's a bit of competition there, but I like what George Tafua has brought to the club as well as to the team. I think he's a very committed player.
Just finally, Brian, it is the final Friday night fever fixture. Do you see these Friday night games under the lights with the fireworks and pyrotechnics a worthwhile experience for you and the club?
Yeah, I think so, and I think the crowds have reflected that. I think it's been a success. I think we need to build on all of the things that we're doing, we need to build on, but yeah, I've enjoyed them.
Thank you, Brian, all the best. Richard Horne, Doncaster travel to Odsal this evening to face Bradford. What are your expectations ahead of this game?
A physical battle. You know, we've got two big middles going up against each other, so that'll be interesting. Obviously, we're going to probably have to move the ball a little bit, you know, to have some joy against the pack that Bradford have. So we'll see how we go.
Bradford here at Odsal are very relentless. They don't give up. How important is it that your side, you know, stay in that arm wrestle for the full 80 minutes?
Yeah, we've spoke about it because I believe we've played them a couple of times, and you know, on two occasions I believe for 60 minutes we was probably up there, if not the better team, and you know, we have a 20 minute switch off, and a team like Bradford punish you, and that's what they did. So yeah, we've spoke about we need to play for the full 80 and make sure we're really good and to a high standard, and because we know Bradford are going to do that.
Is it fair to say that you've reviewed the previous league meeting at the Eco Power ahead of this one to see potentially what lessons you can learn? Because I think it's fair to say, Richard, you pushed Bradford all the way in that home encounter.
Yeah, we did. They've got some new additions to the team, so it's more or less looking at the previous weeks who they've played against and how they've been going and how they've been playing, and we've put a game plan together, hopefully seeing that where we can hopefully exploit them and have some joy.
It's no secret you are doing it tough. A number of changes again this evening. How is that injury adversity affecting the sort of connectability, cohesion of the side?
Look, we've got a really good group of players. We've had a bit of adversity over the last couple of weeks. The Toulouse travel, the Widnes game. We've had to overcome, going down to 11 men and still getting a result. So these boys know how to play for each other and put in a really good shift. Yeah, we've had to call upon the squad and recall a few players that was out on loan. But that's what squads are there for. So hopefully they'll come in and do a job for us.
And just finally, 5 games to go. How pleased are you with Doncaster that potentially you're on the verge of achieving those playoff ambitions?
Yeah, look, it's something we set at the beginning of the year. I'm sure a lot of clubs did, and I believed in the group that we've got that we could achieve this. And we're not a million miles away. We've got 6 games to go, and probably need to win about 3 of them to guarantee it. 2 is going to be touch and go and relying on other results. So yeah, we're focused on this, and hopefully we get the job done today and make it a little bit easier going into the last 5 games.
Richard Horn, all the best. Good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Bradford Championship round 21 fixture. It's the Bradford Bulls against Doncaster here at Bardacard Odsal Stadium this evening. Fresh optimism in the Bradford air after a run of 3 straight wins. A win this evening for Brian Noble and the Bradford Bulls would see the Bulls move level with the York Knights at the summit of the championship table. Well, there was a bumper crowd here at Odsal last Friday. It witnessed a victory that took the Bulls into a coveted top 2 spot. And a win this evening would be the perfect ingredients for Brian Noble ahead of that bye weekend next weekend. Well, it's a perfect evening here at Bardacard Odsal. For this one, let's go through the team news and look how these 2 sides line up this evening. Friday Night Fever, the finale sees Bradford host playoff chasing Doncaster at Odsal. Brian Noble forced to make 2 changes with Kieran Gill missing through concussion. He took a late hit late on in that win over Halifax last Friday. That means George Tafua makes his first appearance since early March. Aribi Doro has been recalled back by Hull Kingston Rovers head coach Willie Peters. He will face Castleford Tigers tomorrow, and that means Bradford's stellar signing Chris Hill, the England international who has left Salford for Bradford. He will make his debut this evening. Over 550 appearances in that stellar career. Chris Hill, he starts in that loose forward position. Well, Richard Horn and Doncaster, they have lost just twice in their last 10 fixtures, both against sides higher in the table. Bradford in round 12 and Toulouse in round 16. They have a 3-point buffer over 7th placed Halifax, but victory tonight would move the South Yorkshire side level on points with 4th placed Oldham. Richard Horn is without the suspended Dean Gebbe, Doncaster's leading try scorer with 21 tries. There's no Reece Lynn, Luke Briscoe, Brad Knowles or Josh Bowden. They miss out through injury, but there is good news with Connor Robinson back in the halves alongside Ben Johnston, and also making his debut this evening. It is the man with a lot of experience at Warrington, Hull Kingston Rovers, Castleford, Lewis Johnson. He suffered that season-ending injury for Castleford last season. He makes his Doncaster debut this evening. He will come off the bench for Richard Horne's side. Well, certainly Doncaster continue to reacquaint themselves well in the Championship in 2025. They've won the last 4 to close and narrow the gap on those sides above them in the Championship table, mainly Oldham, Toulouse, Bradford and York. And Doncaster arrive at Odsal having picked up their 4th straight win, a 34-24 victory over Hunslet on Sunday. Well, last Friday night the Bradford Bulls and Halifax met here in front of the largest crowd, the biggest crowd of the season, as the Bradford Bulls cemented themselves in the top 2 with a 3rd successive win. That 30-10 victory over rivals Halifax, seeing the Bulls take full advantage of Toulouse Olympique's 2nd bye weekend of the season. Well, head coach Brian Noble, who we've just heard from pitchside, commending his side's strong second half showing as they posted 20 unanswered points without reply. Bradford's new look spine of Luke Hooley, Tom Holmes, Joe Keys, Jordan Lilly and Mitch Souter continuing to shine with their exemplary running, passing and kicking game. Brian Noble will be hoping that run continues to shine against Doncaster this evening. And certainly when you speak to the players, there's a feeling and mood amongst the playing group that the momentum and resilience of the side is growing, with everyone working hard and being determined to get a top 2 Championship finish. Well, Richard Horne and Doncaster will rightly come here full of confidence after they have picked up 4 wins on the bounce. And we're about to see the arrival of the 2 sides this evening here at Bardacard Odsal, side by side. Sam Smeet and Michael Lawrence leading out the 2 sides here. It is Friday Night Fever, the final instalment, as the players emerge from the tunnel. Once again there's anticipation crackling in the air as the fireworks, the pyrotechnics, erupt in a symphony of vibrant bursts of red, amber and black. Those waves of colour, they're sinking with the pulse of the applause coming below from those on the stands. Well, we are joined this evening by Bradford Bulls player Kieran Gill, who sadly has to miss this one out after suffering a head injury assessment protocols last week. Kieran Gill, what's it like as a player coming out and experiencing this at Odsal? It's almost like Old Lady Odsal reborn.
It's a surreal atmosphere, to be fair with you, Mick, and it's great when you're being a part of it at the same time. You know, it's what you want as a player and it gets you really going, so I think we're going to be in for a fiery, tasty 80 minutes.
Well, you always get that with Bradford against Doncaster. It is the 3rd time these 2 sides have met this season. Whether you're joining us on 247.tv, West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com or Bulls TV in the future, this one is going to have some ripples. It is going to be Doncaster who will get proceedings underway. We've gone through the 2 teams. The referee for this one, dressed resplendent in red, it's Scott Michalauskas from Wigan. It's his 7th appearance in a Bradford game this season in 2025. And the former Super League referee, he is taking charge of his 23rd game of the season. Well, it is Friday Night Fever, the finale. It's another thrilling Championship showdown at Odsal. The atmosphere electric as the Bradford Bulls and Doncaster meet in what is sure to be a fierce top 6 playoff Championship battle this evening. So Bradford, they've got first use of the ball. Logan Bayliss plays it just outside the 10. Bradford moving the ball over on this right-hand side here with Zach Fulton and some good early Doncaster defence there. Former Leeds man Alex Sutcliffe stopping that run from Fulton. Bradford now 25 shy of halfway. Lilly to Chris Hill on his Bradford Bulls debut. The England international, a lot of experience as he plays the ball just shy of halfway on the last. Keys, boot to ball. The 19-year-old youngster Logan Moy on dual reg from Hull FC takes that one with the sun bearing down on his eyes, and we've had 60 minutes, or should I say 60 seconds gone in this one, right at the start of this game. The atmosphere electric. Kieran Gill, where's this one going to be won and lost this evening?
The main thing is that it's all about winning the battle at the start. We've spoke about it all week, making sure that we're consistent and we're completing the sets. Doncaster are a great team who never say never, so the main thing for us is completing high, working to the end of the sets and get them at their weakest. That's going to be the clinical part for us, and it's just making sure we stay in the grind, and that's going to be the main thing tonight, Mick, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Doncaster, they are on the fifth and last tackle, 10 metres inside the Bradford half, as we see Ben Johnston put boot to ball, the former York Castleford standoff half. He was playing 9 last week. As we said, there's 2 changes made by Brian Noble. George Tafua for Kieran Gill, who's up here, and we're blessed with his company this evening on the commentary, and Chris Hill for Aribi Doro. 3 changes made by Richard Horne as Connor Robinson and Andre Savelio return, and as we said, he will come off the interchange bench. Lewis Johnson, he is making his first rugby league appearance of the season. Bradford 5 inside that Doncaster half. We've had exactly 2.5 gone on the clock as Michael Lawrence is wrapped up on that fifth and last. Bradford centre field, 40 metres out. Once again, Joe Keys kicks towards the corner this time, and that is a clever take there, an easy take from Harvey Horne. But here goes Logan Bayliss, and Logan Bayliss has forced Harvey Horne back towards the 10-metre line. And it's certainly, Bradford look very, very energised early doors here in their defensive line and the line speed. Certainly, if the previous 2 meetings between these 2 sides this season are anything to go by, it will certainly be physical, intense and attritional. Bradford leaving it late on in both games. A little bit later than most at the Eco Power in round 12, as we see an absolute bell ringer of a tackle there on Sam Smeaton. And Doncaster now, they're looking a little bit jaded here. They're 12 metres shy of halfway, centre field. Burns will play it. It'll go back to Robinson, one of 4 former York men in this Doncaster side. And he will target Luke Hooley. Hooley will take that one on his own try line, and he will meet the blue-shirted Doncaster defenders. 15 out, just to the left of centre field. So 247.tv, West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Bulls TV as well. As always, we're syndicated. We're going around the globe with loads of people listening and viewing and watching from every part of the globe, as Tom Holmes has to retrieve possession here from the Bradford Bulls. A bit of a wayward ball coming out the back there. That just kills and sucks off a little bit of that momentum as Guy Armitage now carries Bradford 5 outside their own 20. The 25 shy of halfway, centre field. Lily to Keys. Keys will kick into space. That one's just going to hold up for Logan Moy. And Logan Moy, who made his Doncaster debut in that round 12 defeat to Bradford at the start of June, he's brought down there by Chris Hill and Matty G, just shy of the 20-metre line. Well, Brian Noble and Richard Horne, when I spoke to them pitch side, the key takeaways from them is that it is going to be an arm wrestle early doors, and it's going to be very, very difficult to try and disrupt either side's momentum right at the start. But Gilly, you know what it's like. You've played in those 2 games against Doncaster already. It really is arm wrestle stuff, attritional stuff.
You're right there, Mick. It's an 80-minute game, and that's what we need to make sure that we're taking into place, you know, completing high, not forcing anything silly, and just making Doncaster work downfield. They're being very clinical to start with, you know, making sure they complete high also. So the main thing for us is making sure that we stay in that grind and work them down, because we know we're fit enough and strong enough to become on the other side. So just make sure that we keep working as hard as we can. And for the start, you know, we're 6 minutes in, and this is the first time the ball's been out of play, so there's going to be some tired bodies out there. It's just making sure that we're not the ones tired first.
Well, we've just seen Connor Robinson on the last kick towards the corner. That has turned the Bradford Bulls around. They will play the ball 10 metres out underneath their own post with Michael Lawrence on his 20th appearance of the season. And Bradford now heading towards their own 20-metre line with Hooley to Bayliss. and Logan Bayliss has gone without the ball. Chance has gone begging for Bradford, and they've put themselves under a little bit of pressure here early doors, and this is what Brian Noble spoke about pre-match. You know, a slow and sloppy opening 15 minutes against Halifax, but no sooner have the Bradford Bulls and Logan Bayliss come up with their first error. Doncaster, 2 tackles in, 12 metres out. Poorly, driving it in, trying to offload the ball. That one's gone forward. Greg Burns knocks it on, an early error apiece. Gillett, when we hear Brian Noble, Richard Orme, they're talking about those momentum killers. Those errors that can set you back a couple of sets.
Oh, you're right there, Mick, and I think that one for us, the main thing is it's a get out of jail card. You know, Paulie's forced that error, so we're back here on the grind now, so we need to make sure that we're completing high and complete these next 4 sets. That's what we've been trying to dig into ourselves, and this will tear us apart. So the main thing is just getting back into the grind and staying calm and composed.
George Tafua, tackle 1, not featured since that round 3 defeat away to Toulouse early in March. 153 days he's missed, and he's brought down just outside his own 20-metre line. Wonga Blake's now playing it 5 shy of halfway. Bradford move it across the face of the post. Logan Bayliss inside the Doncaster half. Doncaster having to track back there to bring down the former Brisbane Broncos man. Lilly goes herring away out of acting half. Chris Hill was on the left-hand side. Bradford on the 5th and last tackle. They're 30 metres out from the Doncaster line. Keys once again. Targets Horn. And an interesting note about the 20-year-old Hull Kingston Rovers dual Reg Loney is his uncle is Richard Horn, the head coach of Doncaster. So certainly good to see the Horn family name upstanding and upholding those rugby league heritages. We've had 8 minutes gone here at Odsal. 0-0, an error apiece, no penalties, no set restarts. Certainly, as Richard Horn and Brian Noble, the respected head coaches, said, it's going straight down the middle of the park. Here goes Burns, moves it on this left-hand edge, and Bradford's defence up to the task, although there's a clever little offload there, and that was Jacob Jones there offloading the ball. But no sooner has it gone to former Bradford man Jordan Baldwinson, he is charged upon by Fulton and Blake. Doncaster on the last, on halfway. They'll go down this main stand touchline. Hooley in a good position, and Luke Hooley, he's brought down just inside the Bradford 20-metre line. So Bradford now with a little bit of shape as they shifted over on that left-hand side. Tom Holmes brought down by 3 blue-shirted Doncaster defenders. Here goes Jaden Okimbo. Okimbo carrying forward. He's made 200 metres, we're told, in the last couple of games, and he's playing the ball quickly. And now Jordan Lilly looks for a 40-20. Is it going to go there? Well, it didn't quite go there, but the referee would give Bradford the penalty for Doncaster being offside inside the 10. And a pleasing thing there for Bradford last week. They won the penalty count 8-2 against Halifax. Kieran Gill, that's just Bradford pressure there. Doncaster just a little bit hesitant there and just creeping off the mark, and they've put themselves under pressure.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that we've spoke about all week, to be fair with you, Mick, is just staying calm, staying patient, and it'll come. You know, Doncaster's just got a bit tired round the mark there, so we've managed to capitalise. So, first time in good ball, let's hope we can pull something.
Bradford inside the Doncaster 20 here with Luke Cooley looking for first points, round 21 of the championship. 5 games coming up on Sunday. We'll talk about those throughout the course of the evening, but it's a perfect evening at Odsal as the sun starts to set, and it's back-to-back penalties here because the former Lee man, Jacob Jones, has stopped the ball being taken. And Jordan Lilly here, he's got 2 fingers in the air. I think he wants 2 early points, but I think he's been overruled. I think they're going to run it to Bradford Bulls. So 2 early penalties to Bradford, and a chance now for Bradford to potentially get their first points of the evening. Doncaster having to deal with a lot of possession and a lot of pressure on this Bradford attack as Lilly now goes to Chris Hill. Hill offloads the ball to Keys. Keys to Hooley. Hooley is brought down 5 metres out, 10 in from this near stand side here. More messing around at the play of the ball as Bradford now look to unlock that Doncaster defence. And once again, Chris Hill is going straight down the middle of the Doncaster defence. He's 8 metres out underneath the post. He'll play the ball. Bradford 2 tackles on this set. Hooley to Fulton. Fulton twisting, turning, just couldn't get there. That is tackle 4. 1 to go. Back to the 10. Keys goes left, goes right, takes the line on, but that's good defence from Jacob Jones. And Bradford on the last tackle here. Lilly, crossfield kick, looks for Armitage. Armitage juggles with the ball, but referee Scott Michelauskas will say it is the former Toulouse winger who has taken the ball dead in goal. It will be a 6 tackle set coming up here for Doncaster. Kieran Gill, Jordan Lilly wanted to go for the 2 points. I think it was Joe Keys and perhaps Michael Lawrence who overruled him. Chance gone big in there, still scoreless, 12 minutes gone.
Yeah, it's one of them though. It's the first time we've been down in Doncaster's half, so I can completely see where Michael's coming from. You know, let's get them on the back foot and see what we can do, test the waters a little bit. You know, we've always been told to back ourselves and be confident in that. So even though the set didn't end right, you know, we've got 2 big 6'5" wingers who wants to get the ball up in air, so we've got to do as much as we can to get round that, making sure that we complete high and making sure we restrict Doncaster because they're eating easy meters on this 7 tackle set here.
Doncaster playing the ball 30 metres out from that Bradford line as Ben Johnston takes the line on, and this is the last tackle coming up here for the South Yorkshire side. Currently scoreless, 13 gone. Conor Robinson, left-footed kick, kicks towards that right-hand side, looking for Craig Hall, but that is a good take under pressure there from Guy Armitage, and he will play the ball 10 away from the Bradford try line. Here goes George Tafua, just his 6th appearance of the season for the former Manly Sea Eagle man. Spent 11 seasons at Brookvale Oval, and he'll play the ball just outside the Bradford 10. And here goes Jayden Okinbaugh. Well, he's made 10, 15, maybe 20 metres there, but the ball has been lost. He was trying to give it to Tom Holmes on that left-hand side. Tom Holmes comes in and wraps up Sam Smeaton. It's a 0 tackle for Doncaster as Craig Hall takes the first tackle. So a second error made by the Bulls. They've put themselves under pressure here. What can Doncaster do as Sui Matagi gives the ball to Burns? Loud cheers when that tackle came in on Ben Johnston. Here goes Conor Robinson, takes the line on, gets the ball out, back to Jacob Jones, and Jones is 5 metres out here. Doncaster looking to open the scoring. Robinson right in front of the post here. Doncaster wrapped up on tackle 4. There's 1 to go on this set. 14 minutes gone. Scoreless at Odsal. Friday Night Fever. Ben Johnston along the line. Watson Boas has lost possession, but the referee Scott Michelauskas will give Doncaster their first penalty of the evening, and the call has come in saying that Logan Moy, the 19-year-old, the Hull FC teenager, has been taken out. We can see there Burns moving it on. Nothing wrong with that one from Tom Holmes on Ben Johnston. They moved it over on that right-hand side. Bradford not happy with the penalty. George Tafua on Logan Moy. Referee Scott Michelauskas deeming that one late. We'll stay with the action. We'll get your thoughts in a moment, Gillick. But 0-0. Bradford have put themselves under a little bit of pressure here as Paulie goes on a big, strong, rampaging run just short of the Bradford post. The Australian Greg Burns to Baldwinson. Short, flat ball. The former Bradford man held up right on top of the Bradford line. Push back. Burns now. Dallying. Goes left, goes right. I think he's just going to front up here, Greg Burns. And he does take the tackle eventually. The former Sheffield Academy man wrapped up on the 4th. It's a good test of Bradford's defensive resolve and resilience here. 1 to go on this set as a short ball from Robinson. We'll see Jones wrapped up there by Fulton and Keys. They're on the last tackle here. Richard Hornside putting the Bulls under pressure. Robinson clever crossfield kick. Watson Bowis receives. Watson Bowis will cross the Bradford line, and the PNG international, he has scored the first points, the opening points here at Bardacard Odsal. It's his 9th try of the season, and Connor Robinson, just like he has done in previous seasons, his kicking causing problems for the Bulls. We've had 16 minutes gone on the clock. It was Connor Robinson, it was a la Aussie rules, targeted Tafua, targeted Holmes. Watson Bowis takes it and dives over the line. Kieran Gill.
I think for me there, Mick, Robinson's had too much time just to put the ball onto a dime, to be fair with you. He's seen where he wanted to kick it, and as lucky as it is, Tafua's had ball stripped out of his hands on a one-on-one play, and Bowis has dived over the line. I feel like Doncaster's been given the free rein tonight. You know, they're looking for offloads, they're looking to create something. So I think we need to make sure that we get back down there and we pin them back down and restrict the meters, because if not, Doncaster's going to be looking for these early offloads and trying to get as much joy as they can. So I think that's the main thing for me, and making sure that we pin them back.
Connor Robinson on his return to action for Doncaster. He had a crucial 2 points here at Bardacard Odsal, and it is Bradford Bulls 0, Doncaster 6. West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, 247.tv. And as we see there, that quick play of the ball, it was a bit of a scrappy pass from Burns, but Robinson, pinpoint accuracy, targets Tafua and Holmes. And Watson Bowis comes up with 4 points, which has turned to 6. So, just like Bradford did in that round 12 championship thriller from the Eco Power, they will have to come from behind. And just like they've done previously against Widnes, against Halifax last week, they're now behind on the scoreboard. 18 minutes gone here. Doncaster on the restart, and Watson Bowis carries Doncaster just outside their own 20-metre line. And Richard Horne will be absolutely delighted that Doncaster have maintained their presence in the arm wrestle, and probably on the back of the ill discipline from George Tafua and the error before the penalty, they've got a bit of ascendancy and momentum here. Well, they're on tackle 4 on the restart, 10 shy. Lawrence and Hill in defence. 2 leaders you would want in any rugby league dressing room. They're on the last tackle here. Lewis Johnson just come on the field. Quick play of the ball. It's ricocheted off a Bradford player as that. It's still the last. Doncaster, hot potato stuff. Connor Robinson, another crossfield kick. This time a little bit too much depth on that one. And a chance here now for Jaden Ockimbaugh to turn defence into attack. And he's done well to deal with that kick chase pressure from Sutcliffe, Jones and Horne. Bradford now moving the ball down the middle of the field. Paulie, Greg Burns, the 2 defenders bringing down Hooley, Lilly to Armitage. If Bradford didn't know they were in an arm wrestle and they're going to have to work and bust a gut for every point this evening, they certainly do know now. Bradford 0, Doncaster 6 as we head towards the 20-minute, that first quarter, as we see Zach Fulton 5 metres inside the Doncaster half of the field. He was a try scorer in both wins in the Challenge Cup here back in January, and that 30-22 win at the death at the Eco Power at the start of June. Bradford on the last tackle, 5th and last. It's going to be Hooley who plays it. Lilly to Keys. Keys kicks into the 10. Blake chasing this one. Blake wraps up Moy. Ball and all tackle there from Wonga Blake. And now Doncaster have lost the ball backwards. Picked up by Moy. And the Wigan-based official, Scott Michalauskas, he certainly got that one right. It did go backwards facing the Doncaster line, but what a tackle that is there. Oh, George Tafua and Watson Bowis. Some would get the Richter scale out, the seismograph. It's certainly a blood and thunder evening here at Odsal as Doncaster allowed to offload the ball back to Moy. He's got that dexterity and speed, and now Doncaster, they're on halfway. Blake and Keys in defence, Johnston to his feet, and another strong charge and carry down the middle of the field here from Sui Matagi, and he's getting Doncaster well and truly over that advantage line, that gain line. They're on the last tackle just outside the 20, and that one is come off a Doncaster hand into touch. Bradford ball 15 metres out from their own try line. Well, Doncaster, they arrive here at Odsal having won the last 4 in the championship. They arrive at Odsal confident of a rare win over their West Yorkshire neighbours, and certainly they had to do it tough last week, holding off Hunslet in that second half comeback on Sunday gone. But Kieran Gill, we've just had the first quarter gone. What's going right? What's going wrong for Bradford?
I think we just, like what I spoke about earlier, mate, we just need to control their offloads, and like I said, they're playing with a bit of free rein. We're trying to control the ball and make sure that we complete with good discipline, but sometimes we just need to make sure that we're getting around that ball and suffocating them, because they're getting easy meters and they're playing smart. You've got Robinson who wants to kick it into touch to limit our backfield taking good carries, so their main thing is a standing start. So yeah, we just need to make sure that we keep going.
Bradford running it on the power play. Forward pass though from Fulton on the inside to Hooley. Bradford did make it to the 5th and last tackle. They were 20 metres out from the Doncaster line. There was a chance on the right-hand side. They probably, rather than keeping the ball moving to Blake and Ockenbaugh, they've took the wrong option and gone back on the inside. And it's Bradford's 3rd error of the evening. So we've had 22 minutes gone here on 247.tv, Bulls TV, rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio. We can tell you on Sunday it is London against Toulouse. That is the game we're covering on Sunday, a 1 o'clock kickoff at Cherry Red Record Stadium. There's also games involving Halifax against Sheffield here at their temporary Odsal home. Hunslet host York, Oldham against Barrow, and Widnes hosting the Bartley Bulldogs. At half-time, we'll give you an update from the RFL where everything's at regarding restructuring and remodelling for Championship and League One. Certainly, it was an interesting afternoon at Boundary Park on Wednesday. We now see Doncaster playing the ball on halfway. Burns to Jones. Jones is 10 inside the Bradford half. Keys, Blake, Ockenbaugh wrap him up. Last tackle coming up here for Doncaster, who lead at 6 points to 0, courtesy of that Watson-Bower score. Robinson targets Hooley. Hooley 5 out from his own try line. A bit of open space there, but he's felled there by Horn and Sutcliffe, and he'll get to his feet and he'll play the ball just outside the Bradford 10. Keys. Loop ball now to Holmes. Holmes to G. To Fua away on that far stand side. He's wrestled to the ground there by Johnston, and Boas gets a quick play the ball in, and we will now see the huge frame of Guy Armitage eating up metres down the middle. And here goes Eben Skur, who's just come on the field, one of 2 homegrown players for the Bradford Bulls this evening. He's on halfway. Lilly to Chris Hill. And Chris Hill, look at the metres there, and the offload. Bradford, they weren't alert to the offload from Hill. It's ended up with Lawrence. Lawrence is just outside the 20. Bradford on the last tackle. They're going to go to Keys, and Keys crossfield kick. Armitage to Fua. It's into the arms of Armitage, but Armitage, he's brought down and wrapped up there by Watson Boas, by Craig Hall. It remains Bradford 0, Doncaster 6 here at Barricade Odsal. It's the finale, the final Friday night fever fixture. Bradford's remaining home games against Toulouse is on a Saturday evening, and against Featherstone Rovers on a Sunday afternoon. We've got 16 minutes to go to half time. Gilly, we said it at start, tight 10s, points at a premium. we're probably going to go the distance this evening, and that's credit to Doncaster.
Yeah, for sure, Mick, you're right. We've spoke about it all week, you know, staying disciplined, staying clinical when we've got the ball, and we need to limit them. I think they're gaining easy meters. Like I said, I've spoke about it quite often. Their offloads, it's the main part of the game, and we need to limit them as much as we can. It was a good set then, and we just need to make sure that we pin them back once again, and we just stay focused. There's still 14 minutes left of this half, so we know there's still a lot to play for, so I'm not worried at all.
Doncaster on halfway here. Burns to Hall. Hall just drills it into touch. Guy Armitage, safety first there from the former Toulouse man, allowing that one to roll over the sideline. Well, we mentioned Brian Noble's expectations before the game. He referenced that slow, sloppy opening 15 minutes against Halifax last Friday, but he was pleased overall with his side's performance. And Brian Noble, not for the first time this season, highlighting the important point that when you're facing teams that start full of energy, that are vigorous, like Doncaster, they try to draw that early momentum, and certainly gifts, errors, penalties, that certainly helps the opposition. And Brian, I think he'll be pleased with where this game is. It's certainly a comfortable-ish position for Bradford, and Eben Skur's just won a set restart here now, and all of a sudden Bradford up and over halfway with Manny G on what is now a fresh set of 6 and a tackle reset. A rare set restart given there by the referee Scott Michalauskas. Bradford with George Tafua down this right-hand channel just outside the 20. Lilly inside the 20 to Hill. Hill to Lilly looking for runners. Eben Skur was a little bit behind that play there. Lilly wanted it a little bit faster, a little bit more haste, but good meters made by Skur. They're going on that left-hand side with Holmes to G. G's got the ball down, and G will have the try disallowed by referee Scott Michalauskas. It's certainly bobbled, but Matty G is saying he reached out and breached the Doncaster line. The referee Scott Michalauskas, he says no try. Quick play the ball there from Skur. Lilly intersecting with Holmes. G, does he get it down? It just squeezes out under that defensive pressure there from Watson Bowers and Craig Hall. Oh, narrow margins. And here come Doncaster. They're up and over halfway. And it's the 19-year-old Logan Moy. And he wins Doncaster a set restart. And Doncaster now an opportunity here to potentially go back-to-back and further extend their lead. Tackle count back to 1. It's Robinson to Moy to Jones. Jacob Jones, championship experience with London Liam Widnes. He's brought down 15 metres out. Greg Burns in an acting half. He goes sniping towards the Bradford post, towards the Bradford line. 5 metres out, door slams shut. Robinson wins a set restart, does Burns, and now it's a penalty underneath the post. Scott Michalauskas gave the set restart, and then he's penalised Luke Cooley for the ball steal. It is sloppy, it's not pretty. Doncaster their 3rd penalty, and their 2nd in quick succession. Kieran Gill, Bradford just really the architects of their own downfall here.
Yeah, you're right there, Mick, and I'd like to think that as leader, Bruno's going to get him behind the sticks now and just have a little chat to him. I can see Keith's doing that. We basically just need to regroup, regather and go again, you know what I mean? Like I said, there's 11 minutes on the clock and we can't keep letting this tick over. Doncaster are getting out of their half far too easy, and we just need to slow the ruck down and be patient. Chris Hill's having a great stint on debut, to be fair with you, and so are the other lads. We just need to make sure that we keep pushing and stay composed, because Doncaster at their best is an easy flowing offloading team.
Well, they will take the 2 points on offer here after the 3rd penalty that Bradford have conceded in this first half. We've got 10 minutes to go to half time. Well, Richard Horn, he knew his side this evening would have to be at their best when facing Bradford, and he expected his side certainly to come out striking. And that's what Doncaster have done. Conor Robinson, 2 from 2. Boos and jeers reverberating around Odsal. But it is Doncaster who extend their lead. Bradford Bulls 0, Doncaster 8. And it's that former man who has had many great battles with Bradford over the years. Certainly you go back to those Bradford-York fixtures in League One in 2018, and then those championship fixtures in 19 and 21. Well, Brian Noble has brought on the interchange. The cavalry coming off the interchange bench. Chris Hill leaves the field with Michael Lawrence. Sam Hallis, Ronan Michael coming on to provide some energy. Well, Bradford were 8-0 down against Halifax last week. We've not yet seen a response from the Bulls. And Doncaster, as we said, really taking advantage of those gifts, errors and ill discipline from the Bulls. Greg Burns once again on the 40, just shy of halfway. Doncaster looking at every opportunity to try and offload the ball if there is an opportunity and a chance. They're on the last tackle after points. Robinson just drills it straight down into touch, 20 out from the Bradford line. This is taking seconds and time off the clock. And Gilly, you've played in these types of games. Good game management from Conor Robinson, but that's just a sign that he's out to suck the energy, suck the enthusiasm, and just frustrate the living daylights out of the Bulls.
You're right, Mick, and that'll be their game plan. Limit our back five as much as possible. They'll listen what Ockenbaugh and Armitage can do out of yardage, and we can get those penalties. So I think the main thing for Robinson is playing smart, and they've worked this week in, week out. So for us, like I say, it's making sure we stay disciplined and just keep working.
Bradford with Hallis on halfway. Holmes now to skirt. Jordan Lilly leaves the field for Mitch Souter. And here goes Mitch Souter doing that irrepressive run and snipe, and here goes Souter, 20 metres made there by the former Canberra Raiders man, being hauled down in the tackle. Michael's inside the Doncaster 10 before he's wrestled to the floor, and Scott Michalowska says that's the 5th and last tackle. It's going to go to Keys. Crossfield kick, looks for Ockenbaugh. Ockenbaugh gets there, no he doesn't. It's Harvey Horn who has taken that cleanly, but Scott Michalowskis has penalised the Bulls once more. The crowd not happy with that one. They're saying Jaden Ockenbaugh offside inside the 10. Harvey Horn did exceptionally well. We lost sight of the ball as he was facing his own line. And it is going to be a penalty. A 3rd successive penalty to Doncaster. 10 out from their own try line. Well, Richard Horn really pleased with that strong, intense start to his side's game in this first half here against the Bradford Bulls. They've started well, looked in control, and that is exactly what Richard Horn would have wanted his side to do. What can Bradford do to try and wrestle that pendulum back in their favour? Taylor Tate going into this one makes grim reading for Doncaster. They've not beaten Bradford going all the way back to April 1973.
That's fine.
Doncaster inside the Bradford half now on the back of that penalty. Isaac Miskett has just come on for Richard Horn's side. So too was Andre Savelio, the former St Helens and Warrington forward, been playing on loan at the Goole Vikings. Greg Burns now decides to go down the middle here with Isaac Miskett once again, and I tell you something, Bradford know they are in heaps of trouble here at the end of this first half. 6 to go on the last. Ben Johnson in the 20, twisted turning, takes the tackle, and very, very nearly there. If he could release the ball to Sam Smeaton, there was trouble for Bradford over on that short-hand edge. Well, it's getting a little bit feisty and fiery around the ruck. Bradford 0, Doncaster 8, West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Bulls TV. Crowd appealing for a penalty. The officials will just ignore the noise from the terraces as Souter moves the ball down the middle. Fast hands to Hallis. Hallis has 3 players on him. looks to get a quick play the ball in, and now Suter gives it to Keys. Keys with a bit of attacking shape to Fulton. Again, 3 hungry Doncaster defenders wrapping up the former Manly Sea Eagle man. They'll tackle for the Bulls. 40 metres out as Ronan Michael makes 10, 15 metres. Last tackle for the Bulls. They're down here at Hudsall by 8 points to 0. Keys kicks. Suter, Blake chasing. Everybody's missed it. Keys tries to get the ball, touches down, try disallowed. The crowd are going absolutely bananas here. Scott Michalauskas has given another penalty to Doncaster, and he's saying that there's a push. He's saying Mitch Suter has pushed the Doncaster man. Kieran Gill, over to you. Should this try have stood, yes or no?
I'm just watching it back now, Mick. It seems a bit of a get out of jail card for Doncaster there. Suter's always got his eyes on the ball, and it's just a clear, fair competition, competing for the ball. But Doncaster's got the ball away, try to battle it out their half again.
Well, we've got the benefit of the replay, the officials don't, but it is a 5th penalty to Doncaster. And you've got to say there, Mitch Suter, he had eyes on the ball, he was tracking the ball. Yes, there is marginal contact on the Doncaster fullback Logan Moy, but is there enough to warrant a penalty? In the officials' eyes, yes. Bradford still trail 8 points to 0 here. Watson Boas, 5 shy of halfway. Here goes Burns now to Miskey. Miskey's over on that right-hand side, 5 metres inside the Bradford half. Joined Doncaster following Whitehaven's relegation at the end of last season. Also had a spell similar to Guy Armitage in the other chord. And Doncaster on the last tackle. Well, we've got 3 minutes to go to half-time here. Just the Watson Boas try, the difference between the two, and the boot of Connor Robinson. And that's another clever kick from Robinson, turning Guy Armitage around. Well, it's a 5-2 penalty count against the Bulls. Bradford will feel slightly aggrieved that 50-50 call on the Joe Keys try went against them. And now Bradford trying to get some energy to get themselves further up the field here, because Doncaster haven't pinned. Although Wonga Blake, the former Penrith Parramatta man, has done well and wins the penalty. And that's a coach killer for Richard Horne. Just laying on in the tackle too much. Will Gardner, one of 3 players on Joel Reg from Hull FC this evening, and now a good opportunity for Bradford to get some points with the half-time hooter imminent. 2 to go to half-time. Blake to Keys, to Michael, to Skur. Skur 20 metres out, just to the left-hand side of the post. There's more pushing and shoving at the ruck. Michael to Keys. Keys through a gap, and Keys will score! Joe Keys, he has played a big part, a big hand in everything Bradford are doing tonight. Faultless with the boots, faultless with the running boots. Joe Keys gets Bradford on the board with the half-time hooter imminent. It's his 4th try of the season, and look at that from Joe Keys. He's just gone straight through 5 Doncaster players on the diagonal. He's left bodies on the floor, and I tell you what, that sheer grit and determination there from Joe Keys, Kieran Gill. He wanted 4 points, he got 4 points. Bradford back in this one after a very, very sloppy, disjointed first half.
Yeah, you're right there, mate. You know, it's been a very tough 38 minutes, and credit to Keezy for sliding through the defence there. We got that penalty on the back of Wonga Blake's tough carry. We managed to get able to work them up the field and keep the ball moving. You know, we want to play quick. That's what our team's about, is winning on fitness, and you could see Doncaster was struggling to get up the 10. Keezy spotted a slow defence coming up, and he's managed to slice his way through. I think what we need to do now, make sure we go back into the sheds, listen to what the coaches are saying, and we need to come out 10 times better in the second half.
Time, thank you.
Kick predictor, it's at 78% for Luke Hooley. He was 3 from 3 in that 30 points to 10 win over Halifax here last Friday. He's kicking at 85%, and that one goes between the posts. The gap is narrowed further still. We've got 20 seconds left at the end of this first half. At Bardacard Odsal, a crucial try from Joe Keys. Bradford Bulls 6, Doncaster 8, and here we see the try again. Impressive running from Keys. He leaves a mess of broken, busted Doncaster bodies behind him. We will just about have time for the restart. We've got 5 seconds to go. The try coming right on that half-time hooter. And will Joe Keys score a more important try all season? Remains to be seen, but Bradford 6, Doncaster 8 here, as Bradford potentially look to go back-to-back on the hooter. Hockenball's got it. Blake's put a foot in touch. That will do us for half-time. Half-time goes. And when you talk about tries, when you talk about points and momentum swings, we saw it earlier on in the season.
Victory.
Well, Bradford first out for the start of the second half. It is Friday the 8th of August. 18 minutes to 9. If you are joining us on 247.tv, also West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com. Doncaster will have first use of the ball. Odsal illuminating now as the sun starts to set. We've got the floodlights on, the big screen, and the boos and jeers. Scott Michalauskas comes out with a smile on his face. Certainly no stranger to this fixture, Scott Michalauskas. He was the man in the middle at the Eco Power Arena back in June. Doncaster 22, Bradford 30, in front of nearly 3,000 supporters there that Sunday afternoon. So we're up and away at the start of this second half. Doncaster, as we said, no win over Bradford, going way back to April 1973 when Doncaster beat Bradford Northern by 18 points to 7. And just for context, you could go out to the local pub for a pint of lager or bitter. It was 11p. If you fancied a Guinness, it was 16p. Kieran Gill's got a smile on his face. Well, Brian Noble won't have a smile on his face because Zach Fulton has lifted Jacob Jones up above the horizontal and dropped him on his back right at the start of this second half. And it is a penalty that is going to piggyback Doncaster up the field into Bradford's half of the field. So that is not the start that Brian Noble would have wanted, Kieran Gill.
Yeah, looking back on the video, it were Rowan Michael tipping him up, unfortunately. We've come out with the right intent. We've started hard. The first 3 tackles have been immense, but unfortunately we've let ourselves down. But now we need to make sure that we're limiting them, don't get them into good ball, and we work his way out.
So some early pressure by Richard Horn's side on this Bradford Bulls defensive line. Andre Savelio, Paulie, Sui Matagi, Isaac Miskett. There's some big players out there on the field for the men from South Yorkshire. They're playing the ball just outside the 20. Burns to Miskey to Robinson to Moy. It goes on that left hand side, and look at this defence from Bradford. Doncaster forced to play the ball on the Bradford 20 on tackle number 4. Alex Sutcliffe gets to his feet unmoved, and Doncaster now on the last tackle with Zach Miskett playing the ball 15 out underneath the Bradford post. Half-time score, if you're just joining us, Bradford 6, Doncaster 8. Doncaster with a first opportunity in this one as Connor Robinson takes the line on Robinson, trying to smuggle the ball out like contraband on the Whitby coast in the 1700s, and he's brought down. Remains Bradford 6, Doncaster 8. You've just seen what Connor Robinson can do, the dancing feet, the shimmy. He's gone straight past Mitch Souter and Keys, and in the end I think it was Ronan Michael who came up with that try-saving tackle. So Bradford 6, Doncaster 8. 247.tv, Bulls TV, West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com. Don't forget, we're covering the game, the 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday afternoon. London Broncos hosting Toulouse at the Cherry Red Records Stadium. We'll be live on air from 12:45 as Bradford move the ball out of their own 20-metre line over on that far stand side with Jaden Ockimbaugh. 16 tries this term. Just ahead of Kieran Gill, who joins us on commentary this evening as Ronan Michael shoots into that Doncaster defensive line. Bradford 5 shy of halfway. Suter to Skur. Skur bounces off Savelio, but dragged down there by Miski and Jones. And that's the last tackle here for the Bulls. They're on halfway, just to the right of centre field. A slow, sloppy pedestrian play the ball as Hooley's kicked it out on the full, and you could see there from Luke Hooley, the minute the ball left the boot, he was shaking his head. He didn't need to look at the touch judge or referee. Bradford have come up with a 4th error in this game. Right at the start of the second half, Doncaster get a full set from halfway.
Yeah, I think we need to offer a bit more out of the last play tackle there. It was a slow play of the ball, so Doncaster's line rushed up and put too much pressure on Hooley. I think we need to be looking at a second phase kick and chasing it downfield, because now we've given them the ball back in good ball, and you never know what might happen here with Doncaster, so we need to make sure that we bar up more than out and limit their metres.
Well, Toulouse Olympic will be probably having their fingers crossed and toes that Doncaster keep and maintain the lead in this second half. They are level on points with Bradford, but they have had the bye weekend last weekend, so they played a game less. As Miski now along the line to Johnston, to Moy, to Boas. Watson Boas wrapped up 12 metres out now from that Bradford try line. They're going to move it on this right-hand side. Back to Boas, to Hall. Hall wrapped up by Armitage. The ball goes in field to Moy. Moy's wrapped up by Tafua. They're on the last with Smeaton. And Watson Boas goes close to getting Doncaster's second. Scott Michalauskas, the referee, he says short, short, short. And Watson Boas is claiming a try here. But you can just see that makeshift Bradford Bulls dam, that last line of defiance, the resilience of Bradford. They stop the P&G International. Watson Boas scoring a double. Well, he bounces off the shoulder there of Tom Holmes. Oh, Guy Armitage has come up with the try-saving tackle, but now the Bulls have come up with another error 10 metres out from their own line, and these are costly errors. Kieran Gill, they've put themselves under pressure.
Yeah, you're definitely right there, mate. We were too busy watching what's just happened, and unfortunately, by the looks of it, Ockenbaugh's rolled the play of the ball forward instead of rolling it backwards, just not getting his foot high enough, so we're going to have to do it the tough way here and make sure that we limit Doncaster. They've got a great opportunity to attack our line now.
Well, we've seen in the games against Oldham, Widnes and Halifax, Bradford's 3 wins on the bounce, strong second half performances. Are we about to see another strong second half performance? Because they're under the pump here. The side currently 6th in the championship, looking to narrow the gap on second place Bradford to just 4 points. They are on the attack here with Sam Smeaton. His 6th season at Doncaster. One of the most experienced championship back rowers. Plays the ball. Burns has it. Burns is pushed back there. And look at that defence from the Bradford Bulls. Greg Burns pushed back outside the 10. And Guy Armitage, he's forced the error alongside George Tafua, and that is going to be Bradford ball. It remains Bradford 6, Doncaster 8. We've just seen a plethora of errors from both sides to christen the opening 6 minutes, but look at that Bradford Bulls defence there. You've got George Tafua, Guy Armitage. Well, we said Guy Armitage, unfortunately. I think Guy Armitage comes in last man and picks the ball up, but George Tafua gets the praise there.
Yeah, great bit of defence there, but I think now the main thing is we get round each other and just say we just need to complete these next four sets. We need to be smart. We need to get out of the zone half. We're giving Doncaster too much free rein here, so we need to get back to completing high and work them down the field, because I haven't seen us in Doncaster's half yet, this half.
Bradford from that play the ball after the error from Greg Burns. They are just outside their own 20-metre line here with Zach Fulton. Bradford, as we said, second in the table on 28 points as Suter goes through a gap, and Suter has space. Suter to Hallis on this left-hand side. Hallis wrapped up by Moy and Hall. Quick play the ball from the former Leeds man, and Keys is inside the 10, and he is trying to appeal for a penalty. None forthcoming from the officials. They might be playing an advantage to Bradford as the ball goes from Holmes to Hooley. Hooley wrapped up there by Johnston, Smeaton and Boas. They're on the fifth and last tackle here, the Bradford Bulls. What a run it was from Suter down the middle. Holmes into the in-goal area. Goal line dropout forced. Wonga Blake was bearing and breathing down on the Doncaster half. Connor Robinson. But look at this from Mitch Suter. Play the ball from Fulton. He's gone straight past through a big gap left by Greg Burns. Do you think he passed it a little bit too soon? Either way, Bradford have just turned on the gas, earning a repeat set. Bradford 6, Doncaster 8.
Yeah, great bit of work by Mitch there, coming out of his own half. Doncaster's just done a dropout 50 yards past Guy Armitage, and he's unfortunately tipped it into touch, so another get out of jail for Doncaster there, Mick.
Well, Connor Robinson has come up with one of the plays of the championship season. Guy Armitage out of position. It was an angled kick. It's gone over halfway, and Guy Armitage just couldn't get there. He did touch it, but he's forced it into touch. So we've just had a Doncaster error, and Bradford forcing the dropout, and all that pressure that Bradford applied has evaporated. Connor Robinson bringing the influence with his kicking and organisation skills. And when it should have been Bradford on the Doncaster line, it's Doncaster now on the Bradford line. But referee Scott Michalauskas is going to give a penalty to Doncaster here. The touch judge Aaron Belafonte comes on, and he's going to say Bradford not square. So it's another penalty here to Doncaster. 7 penalties to 3 now in favour of the men from South Yorkshire. They're not going to go for 2. We're going to stay with the action. We've had 10 minutes gone right at the start of this second half. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is not pretty by any imagination here at Odsal this evening. What it is, though, it is delivering nerve-shredding drama as Doncaster breach the line. It's a sensational try here from Ben Johnston, and Ben Johnston, the 33-year-old former Halifax Castleford half, he has scored try number 2 of the season, and just like Joe Keys did in that first half, Ben Johnston has delivered, and it has come off the back of Bradford error from Guy Armitage, then the penalty. And I'm not quite sure who it was. Someone had Ben Johnson in the clutches of their arms, but then he wriggled forward, and he has just gone through Matty G there and gone over. Kieran Gill, Bradford now in a little bit of a hole here. There's still time on their side, but if Connor Robinson converts this, Doncaster have restored their 2-score lead and an 8-point buffer.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left, Mick, but that's all stemmed from the penalty. Marker's not square. Very smart play by Boas, to be fair. And then mainly it's just come off Robinson pinning his ears down. Not Robinson, Johnston, sorry. He's just pinned his ears down and managed to sneak under Matty G's arm and forced his way over the line. I think what we need to do now is make sure that we've got a bit of leadership behind that sticks, having words with each other, making sure that we're not putting his heads down. Robinson's just missed that kick, so it's a 6-point ball game. So I'm pretty sure we'll all have his head screwed on here. We need to make sure that we pin them back from this kick-off and we get the ball back and we run hard and we run like we want to score.
Connor Robinson can't convert. We had the kick predictor. It was at 68%. It was 5 metres in from touch. He goes to 2 from 3 and 66% this evening. And on West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Bulls TV, it is Bradford Bulls 6, Doncaster 12. How's the pulse? That nerve-shredding drama that we see every weekend in the Championship. We might be going the distance this evening here at Odsal. Bradford's new star signing, Chris Hill, on the sidelines watching on. He will come on at some point in this second half and play a big part, you feel. Doncaster throwing everything at the Bulls this evening, and to their credit, they are certainly swinging and kicking, just as Richard Horne said pre-match when we spoke to him an hour before the kick-off. Isaac Miskey wrapped up, tackle 4. Doncaster on the restart here. Greg Burns in there in acting half, misses out Moy, gives the ball there to Johnson. He's wrapped up there, the former Warrington man, 5 shy on that last tackle. It's Bradford 6, Doncaster 12. Robinson once again goes down the line. Hooley takes it on the 10, floats the ball in field. High risk play to Armitage. It's not come off for Bradford because Armitage is heading back towards his own goal line. Well, that is, I'm not sure what Luke Hooley was trying to do there, if truth be told. He clearly didn't quite fancy taking on the Doncaster kick chase defence himself, but Bradford on tackle 2, 10 metres out from their own line. Here goes Tafua down the middle. First game in 153 days, we're told. Last game was round 3, and a heavy defeat for the Bulls in the Stade Ernest Wallon and Toulouse Olympique. Skur, tackle 4, quick play the ball. Ronan Michael takes on Gardner and Smeaton. Just shy of halfway on the last. Keys, reverse pass to Holmes. Holmes, a high, hanging, ugly spiral bomb. They've let it bounce as Horne. It's headed towards the corner. Here goes Blake. Blake against Horne. Blake gives up the chase. Horne has it. He's wrapped up by Holmes, and Suter 10 out from his own try line. And here goes the young, talented teenager. Certainly a bright future for Logan Moy in the seasons to come. He'll play the ball just outside the 20-metre line. Well, this is an opportunity here for Bradford to try and wrestle some of that momentum back from the Doncaster side. Johnston, the try scorer, to Robinson. Moving it over with Johnson, looks for support, can't find it. That'll be tackle 4, 1 to go here. We've got 25 minutes to go here as Isaac Miskey goes scampering out of acting half, and Bradford contain Doncaster on halfway. So 5th and last tackle here. They're looking for either Johnston or Robinson. It does go to Robinson, left-footed kick. Targets Hooley. Will we see Hooley's pass in field? No, we won't. This time, more patience, more composure applied from the Bradford Bulls. Well, we mentioned those strong second halves against Oldham, Widnes, Halifax. We've not yet seen it switch and click for Bradford, and as we said, that is down to this Doncaster defiance. They're not making or not allowing Bradford to play this evening, and you almost feel here as we look at the clock and there's 24 minutes to go, we're going the distance this evening. 10 shy of halfway. Suter, Michael, now to Keys, to Hooley. Rugby League poetry here as Blake gets the ball towards Okimbo, but Doncaster's defence drifted and shifted across. They're inside the Doncaster half here now with Hallis, and Hallis carries Bradford 30 metres out. This is the last tackle for Brian Noble's side. They're down by 6, still in this game. Holmes has it, targets Moy. Tafua comes bearing down, and he wraps up Moy 5 metres out. Good kick chase pressure there from the Bradford Bulls. Kieran Gill, an opportunity now for Bradford to force some pressure, and it very nearly comes off. Did that ball knock forward? It did go forward, and Bradford, the kick chase pressure, it has forced the youngster, 20-year-old Harvey Horne. Well, his uncle Richard, the head coach of Doncaster, won't be pleased with that one. He should have just kept hold and maintained possession. Bradford have a scrum 10 metres out. Bradford an opportunity here. They've not had many in this second half.
No, you're right there, Mick. I think it's his first opportunity. And what we've done, we've completed the sets. We've limited them, and we've stayed completing the sets. We're making sure that we're working, we're kicking the ball, and we've managed to be able to get the ball back. Bit of a tussle at the scrum there, I'm not sure. But I think the main thing for us now is enjoy it down here. We don't have to score on the first set. We'll just keep working as much as we can, and we'll reap the rewards. I'm confident of it.
Well, referee Scott Michalauskas has just reset the scrum. Doncaster were trying to win it against their head. Keys has other ideas. Now to Holmes. And Tom Holmes wins a penalty for the Bradford Bulls. It's in front of the post, but Bradford, they are down by 6. I don't think Bradford will consider going for 2 here. They have to turn this penalty, this possession, this pressure into potentially 4 points or even 6. Holmes will tap the ball to Hallis. Sam Hallis, his 21st appearance of the season. 3 tries this year for the Bulls. Suter to Keys to Fulton. Fulton's brought down there by Sutcliffe. They're 2 metres away from the prize, the Doncaster line. Keys to Holmes. Holmes has come up with the error. It's picked up by Smeaton. Smeaton had Boas who was calling for it. And referee Scott Michalauskas is going to stop the clock here because Sam Smeaton's gone down with what we can assume is cramp. Well, we praised the first half, Kieran Gill. We said, I think it was 3 errors made by Bradford, 1 by Doncaster. Second half, inside 20 minutes, Bradford up to 8 errors, Doncaster up to 5. Is that just the tension, the physicality of this championship clash? I'm kind of guessing Richard O'Brien won't be happy with their side's ball retention and completion rate.
No, and I said it at half-time. I said, if you're off point in the championship, anyone can win anyone. It's that tough of a competition. Because at the end of the day, Doncaster are playing for a playoff spot. We're still playing for playoff spots. We need to be proving ourselves week in, week out. Doncaster are. They're playing a smart game plan and they're coming up with it. We need to stay composed. We need to win the battle, the territory. Because at the minute, Doncaster are playing right into what they want, completing high and kicking it into touch to limit our back 5. We need to make sure we're smart and we just work as much as we can. I'm looking forward to seeing the bench come on and make an impact. There's 20 minutes left. I can't see them waiting any longer for Chris Hill, Michael Lawrence, Jordan Lilly, Logan Bayliss to come back on and offer a bit more spice to the game.
Doncaster on halfway with Suet Matagi. Now Jacob Jones. We've just hit the hour mark here at Hudsall. Robinson on the last drills the ball past Blake and Ockenbaugh. And not for the first time we've seen the game management of Connor Robinson try and frustrate the Bradford Bulls. And almost, when we talk about telepathic rugby league, Kieran Gill said they were about to come on and certainly bring that energy. And Michael Lawrence, Chris Hill warming up, and they're going to be coming on in the next couple of tackles. Well, Bradford have it, 30 out from their own line. Suter now. Bradford are going to have to chase this game. 19 to go, down by 6, and here's Lawrence on the field. And immediately Michael Lawrence carries Bradford up and over halfway. Suter to Keys. Fulton, one of 4 ever presents for the Bradford Bulls, finds Suter back on the inside. Suter to Hooley. Hooley's 15 out. Good second phase play from the Bulls. Doncaster are stretched. Suter's gone down the cul-de-sac. He's turned on the sat-nav, gives it to Lawrence, and Lawrence calms things down. 5 metres out in front of the Doncaster post. On the last, crossfield kick from Keys. Looking for Ockenbaugh. Taken on the full in goal. A very, very confident take there by Harvey Horn, who earlier come up with the error, and you've just seen Bradford just starting to click. Well, it's Bradford 6, Doncaster 12, 18 minutes to go. It was tight at the Eco Power Arena. It needed a late try from Eben Skur to cement Bradford's narrow 30 points to 22 victory. Points at a premium here at Hudsall this evening under the Hudsall floodlights, and Doncaster know they score next. Bradford are going to have a lot of pressure applied. They're 30 metres out now. Johnston gives it there to Gardner. He's rolled over on tackle 4. Lawrence and Hill in defence for the Bulls. Jordan Baldwinson, a former Bradford man, made 6 appearances for the Bulls last year. They're in front with Connor Robinson. He's looking for the drop goal. He's dummied it, and the Bradford have the ball here with Wonga Blake. He's away to the try line, but it has come off a Bradford hand. It will be Bradford ball, but it did touch a Bradford hand. I think it might have been Fulton, not quite sure. Doncaster come up with the first error. Well, Connor Robinson, he was in position, prime position, 22 metres out. That red line there you see on your television sets. Oh, it was Joe Keys who come up with the error. Double knock on. But in the end, it will go the way of the Bulls. 6 points to 12. A real chance opportunity gone begging there, Gilly, for Bradford.
No, for sure, mate. And I was just thinking to myself, I was looking at the clock and I'm thinking, these have got some smart halfbacks with Johnston and Robinson, that they would look for the 1 point. That, you know, it's a one-score game and they're not going to let it die till the last minute to drop a drop goal. They're going to be smart about this. But we need to be making sure that we're on point and we're taking everything that we can. Great carry by Eben Skur there, which leads us into our half.
Mitch Suter makes 20 metres from that quick play, the ball from Eben Skur. Bradford once again inside the Doncaster 20. They are on the last tackle. They're going to run it with Keys to Hooley, to Blake. Blake's caught high, but he's got the ball down. It doesn't matter. It could be an 8-point try because Wonga Blake has been taken high on his way to the line. Big decision coming up here for the Wigan official, Scott Michelauskas, but Wonga Blake has potentially locked this one up in that right-hand corner. He has gone past 3 Doncaster defenders. It was Lawrence to Keys, Bradford running it on the power play. Hooley to Blake, and Blake's caught high. The question will be, is it in the act of scoring? Scott Michelauskas, big decision to make here. Try awarded, Bradford 10, Doncaster 12. Well, he's got 3 or 4 Doncaster players around him. And in the 65th minute here at Odsal, Bradford narrow the gap. Their second score of the evening. Kieran Gill, we're not sure if it's a penalty, an 8-point try, yes or no yet. We'll see after the kick. But oh my word, pressure now on Luke Hooley.
Yeah, mate, I think that's been his first play this half in his own good ball, and what a play it was. Great strength by Wonga Blake, beating off 4 defenders to get over the line. I don't think it's going to be an 8-point try. It didn't look like anybody were looking that way, the referee or the touch judge. But you know what, we've managed to scrape a try with 15 minutes left, and it's down to Luke Hooley to level things up. I'd like to think that we're coming confident after this kick, and we're going to limit them once again and just get back into our rhythm.
All the pressure, the weight of the world on the shoulders of Luke Hooley here. 14 minutes to go. A crucial touchline conversion, and it's gone between the paws. Cold and cool as ice. Luke Hooley, Bradford 12, Doncaster 12. We are all locked up, and with 13 minutes to go on 247.tv, Bulls TV, rugbyleague.com, West Yorkshire Radio, those immortal words, we say them almost every week. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in. We are going the distance at Barnacard Odsal this evening. 12 points apiece. Bradford now can see a path towards victory. Well, we saw York get out of jail against Oldham on Sunday. We saw Toulouse get out of jail against Doncaster a couple of weeks back. Are Bradford about to do that this evening? They're up and over halfway here with Wonga Blake, and it's now all about that energy game. How much energy do these Doncaster forwards, who have tackled heroically this evening, have left in their tank? Here goes Chris Hill down the middle, looks for support, finds it. It's come off the knees of Suter. Play on is the call. It clearly came off the knee. Doncaster has stood around as it goes from Hooley to G, and we're on the last tackle here. Bradford played to the whistle. Doncaster didn't. Keys has it in front of the post. Are Bradford about to go back to back? They're running it again on the power play. Keys takes the line on, finds the support. Fulton out wide. Okinbo's in. Bradford do go back to back. Champagne Rugby League football of the Championship vintage. Take a bow. Joe Keys. His organisation, his running, his passing, his influence. Will there be a more important try at Odsal this season? Bradford 16, Doncaster 12. It is a real sucker punch for Richard Horn and Doncaster. Look at the support play. It was Fulton. He drew everybody in, and then it went to the man of the moment. In at the corner. Try number 17 of the season. Will Jaden Okinbo score a more important score? Kieran Gill.
It started as a scratchy last play, to be fair with you, Mick, on this side, but Joe Keys has managed to come up with a bit of individual brilliance, managed to skirt across the line, break through, inside offload to Zach Fulton, and Zach Fulton with a little basketball pass over the top to Okinbo just for a nice clear finish in the corner. I think this is what we needed, a back-to-back. This is the first time I feel like we've completed. There's 12 minutes left of the game. We don't have to chase it now. We just need to make sure that we keep completing high, and we pin Doncaster in their own half. Doncaster's been great for 70 minutes. We always said this is an 80-minute game and we need to push ourselves. And I feel like Doncaster's pushed us that far that we need to make sure we're being smart. They've been smart for 70 minutes, kicking it out when they needed to. Now we need to be smart, keep it in play and go and back our strengths. The main thing there was we kept it direct down the middle and we bust through. So around the middle, managed to work his little bit of excellence and gain some field possession. So now we just need to make sure we keep continuing that.
Luke Cooley from that main stand touchline. He converts. He adds an extra 2 points. The crowd chant Hooley. He's 3 from 3, 6 from 6 in the last 2. He converts Okinbo's 17th try of the season. 9 tries now in the last 6 outings from Jaden Okinbo. Bradford Bulls 18, Doncaster 12. And I'm sure Richard Horn must be thinking, how on earth have Doncaster just thrown this game away in the space of 3 minutes? Because that is all it has taken for Wonga Blake and Jaden Okinbo. Bradford's right edge now has 29 tries this season. Just so you don't feel left out, Gillett, you and Guy are on 26 tries. You're just 3 behind.
We've got some work to do then, eh, Mick?
On the restart, Chris Hill carries Bradford 20 shy of halfway. Suter now to Lawrence. Are the floodgates about to open? Well, this big, large crowd here at Odsal, they're potentially cheering what could be back-to-back-to-back scores, but much better defence here from Doncaster. Bradford just inside the Doncaster half. On halfway, Keys has drilled the ball into back of a Doncaster player. He didn't know anything about it. It will be Doncaster ball. But crucially, there's 9 minutes to go. Somehow, Kieran Gill, Bradford have turned this game on a 50p p-piece.
Yep, and with this game how it's going, it can go to the final minute. There's 6 points in the game. It could swing either way. But we need to make sure we stay disciplined while Doncaster's got the ball and we limit them as much as we can. I can see that Logan Bayliss and Jordan Lilly are looking on the sideline to come on as well, and I think they're going to offer a bit more for us in these last 10 minutes. So main thing for me is we restrict the meters and we just keep working as much as we can. It's unfortunate that it's had to come down in these last 15 minutes because we wanted a secure 80 minutes performance, but that's the championship for you, Mick, and love it or hate it, this is how it is.
Doncaster not giving this one up. Andre Savelio plays the ball on the halfway line, and Doncaster, there's still time on the clock to change this around. Paulie, he's back out there for the final 10 minutes or so. 8 minutes to go. He's inside the Bradford 20. Miskey goes in there in acting half. They're on the fifth and last tackle here, Doncaster. They now trail by 18 points to 12. Connor Robinson to Hall. Hall palms it back in. It's gone forward pass. Hooley has it. Well, the crowd are going to say Scott Michelauskas. The referee's put whistle to lips prematurely, and I think perhaps he has, but then would the space have been there if the whistle hadn't have gone? Who knows? Bradford have a relieving set of six here, moving it out from their own try line. Well, just to recap, don't want to put too much pressure on you, Kieran Gill, but in about 5 minutes' time, you're going to announce who's the man of the match and why. But Bradford now able to bring on Logan Bayliss and Jordan Lilly for the final 7 minutes of this game. Odsal is rocking. You can feel that's something special being built here. Chris Hill along the line to G. Tackle 4 gone here for the Bulls. He'll play the ball 5 shy of halfway, and here goes Chris Hill. Well, he's come up with a wayward pass there as Chris Hill. It's picked up by Lawrence. Lawrence finally brought down there by Paulie. And Sui Matage. Keys on the last. Kicks it towards Horn. Horn does well, the 20-year-old Doncaster Rovers wingman. Can play in that full-back role as well. Logan Moy. They've come up with the error, Doncaster. The pressure was too much. Michael Lawrence, Matty G. It was a little bit of a glance there from Watson Boas. Sweaty palms. And now all of a sudden, Kieran Gill, it's 8 errors apiece. 8 errors apiece, and Bradford now with an opportunity to close this game down. They'll have the scrum 20 metres out, dead set central. Surely we're talking 1 point.
Yeah, you've read the words right out of my mouth, Mick. I think that's the first time I've seen Doncaster a bit scratchy and nervous, to be fair with you, like they had to play for something when all they needed to do was get out their own half. So for now, it's Bradford making sure that they either set up to a point and play, or we look at a tackle 4 drop goal over, because I think we've got quite a few individuals who'll back this in with that.
Well, Bradford, incidentally, they've only kicked 2 drop goals so far this season, and both of those come in that famous win over Castleford here in early February. They're in good field position here with 5 minutes to go. Jordan Lilly gives the ball to Hill. It's gone forward. Just when you want patience and composure, Bradford now come up with another error. Oh, Doncaster have still got a lifeline left in this game. The phone, the friend, they've used the 50-50. They're going to ask the audience what to do. But let me tell you, Kieran Gill, oh, these are coach killers for Brian Noble. Just when you want that composure, you want that patience, that smartness. Oh, Bradford have come up with a crucial error. Bradford 18, Doncaster 12. Doncaster, the clock and scoreboard against them. Can they get themselves back in this game? They have busted a gut. They have depleted the energy reserves and more. They are still going, still fighting for the club, for the coach, Richard Horn. He'll be immensely proud of this effort from his Doncaster side, especially with no Luke Briscoe, Dean Gebby suspended, Reece Lynn pulling up pre-match. They're on tackle 4 on halfway. Paulie plays the ball. Now it's going to go to Johnston. To Miskey in centre field. Miskey cuts through a gap. Blake brings Miskey down. That leaves Bradford short on that left edge. Keys has had a bit of a collision there with a Doncaster man. He goes down. Referee stops the clock. Isaac Miskey's playing the ball here for Doncaster. 25 out on what will be the last tackle. This is a crucial last tackle play for Doncaster. Kieran Gill, we have 4 minutes to go here. Who's your man of the match and why? Just quickly.
For me, you know, he's been a leader around the field today. He's been kicking the ball when needs be, and he's been direct and running threat massively. So for me, he's had his finger in every try. It's going to be Joe Keys. He's managed to lead his way around the park and kick very well when needed to, and just be calm and direct. Yeah, for me, Joe Keys.
Joe Keys, he's the player who has received the medical treatment and got up. He goes back in Bradford's defensive line. He has been given the man of the match, and as we said, it's his sphere of influence, the organisation skills, the creativity, the execution. Doncaster on the last now. Robinson targets Armitage. Under pressure there from Bowerson, Hall and Smeaton. And the former Toulouse man takes that one well. Oh, here goes George Tafua. Wrestled to the floor like a child having a strop with the ragdoll. And he's 15 out from the line, and he wins the penalty. Referee Scott Michalauskas saying Doncaster moved off the mark. Bradford still behind on the penalty count, 7-5. And now it's a chance for Sam Smeaton to question Scott Michalauskas' authority. Not a good look, remonstrating with the official. Penalty given. Doncaster just jumping, the starter's gone. We've got 4 minutes, 4 seconds left on the clock here. It is West Yorkshire Radio, Bulls TV, rugbyleague.com and 247.tv. Just a quick reminder, Sunday afternoon, we are live at 12:45 from the Cherry Red Record Stadium for London Broncos against Toulouse Olympique. Sunday afternoon, Championship Rugby League. Let's see if Mike Eccles and the Broncos and how they can go against Sylvan Houlets and Toulouse Olympique. Toulouse Olympique coming off the back of that bye week. Bradford, as things currently stand, will move level at the Championship Summit with the York Knights. This might be the moment for Bradford.
I'm feeling a one-pointer, mate.
There's 3 minutes to go. Bayliss plays the ball in front of the post. Now it's Holmes. Holmes. He goes to the left, now to the right. Lily's in position, tackle 4. Is this the moment? Bradford put this game to bed. It goes to Lawrence instead. Surely Lawrence isn't going to put one over. Last tackle, 10 metres out.
Lily
Bradford in position. Jordan Lilly back. Is this his second drop goal of the season? It's charged down by Doncaster. Bradford have it. Is it still the last? No, it's back to 1. And Jordan Lilly, he heads towards the Doncaster line. Well, Doncaster had to charge the ball down, because if that goes over, it is game over. But as things currently stand, a 4th try, a 3rd in this second half, that will cement victory nonetheless. We've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go here at Odsal. Just short of 4,000 in attendance. Certainly another big crowd at Odsal this evening. Tackle 3 gone for Bradford. Those 2 tries, as Fulton tries to get over. He's held up. We go back to the 10. This might be the moment that Bradford do go for 1 point, but certainly when you talk about game-breaking moments, those back-to-back scores from Wonga Blake and Jaden Ockimbaugh, 12 points in just 3 minutes, just after the hour mark, turning this game on its head, as Doncaster just could not deal with that deluge of Bradford power, Bradford pressure. Clock is stopped. We have a minute and 40 seconds to go here. Doncaster have a player down in the in-goal area. Well, we've mentioned those back-to-back scores, but Luke Hooley's goal kicking, absolutely crucial, Gilly, in this victory for Bradford, if it happens.
Yeah, you're right there, Mick. He's been on form today. He's been practicing throughout the week quite a lot, you know. A few of the lads like to bet coffees that they're either going to miss or get it, and Luke's been slotting them all week, so I think he's up a few coffees as well.
Well, good for Luke Hooley. I hope he has them at Jordan Lilly's cafe. As things stand here on West Yorkshire Radio, rugbyleague.com, Doncaster still have a player down in the in-goal area. I think it's Craig Hall, who is just getting patched up by the Doncaster physio staff, but it will be a play the ball, because Zach Fulton was held up over the line, 10 metres out, and I'm just looking at Bradford's attacking shape. Those that are watching on the live stream this evening, they'll see that you've got Lilly and Hooley and Holmes all the way back. We'll see what happens on this play. Doncaster make the change. There's 95 seconds to go. 95 seconds to go here at Odsal. Bradford 18, Doncaster 12. We're still waiting for referee Scott Michalauskas here to blow time on. And I think because Bradford are potentially in drop goal range, they're just waiting for everything to clear. So here we go. 95 seconds left here. Bradford have it. Lilly in front of the post. He gives it to Bayliss, who runs it in 5 metres out. This is the 5th and last. Is this the moment for the Bulls? Lilly. It's going to go to Keys instead. Keys to Fulton. I think Bradford are just going to run it in on the power play. They don't go for one. And now there's 80 seconds here, Kieran Gill, for Doncaster to go the length of the field and tie this one up. It's Hail Mary stuff from Richard Horn's side. We will wait and see what happens. I'm not quite sure why Bradford didn't go for the drop goal, but look at this defence. Doncaster forced back in goal, and it is the enforcer, Chris Hill and Logan Bayliss, who pick up young Harvey Horn and drag him in goal. Second goal line dropout that the Bradford Bulls have forced, and that is exactly why Brian Noble brought Chris Hill to the Bradford Bulls, the 37-year-old England international. Look what he done there. They've gone short here, Doncaster, and they're going to get the ball, but it has gone forward, and Bradford will seal this one out. They will see this out. It's a 10th error from Doncaster. They just made one error in the first half. They've come up with 9 in the second. The clock counting us down here at Odsal. 20 seconds left. Doncaster try to force the scrum, but oh boy, Bradford have been pushed the distance. They have been pushed the distance by Doncaster at Odsal this evening. We might not have time for the scrum. The hoots are imminent. It's Bradford 18, Doncaster 12. Those 2 tries back to back from Wonga Blake and Jaden Ockimbo just after the hour mark. The difference. We went the distance, and the difference was 2 Bradford tries just after Chris Hill, Michael Lawrence had come on. Doncaster, a valiant effort. Their winless run will go on for another season. Potentially they will meet in the playoffs in 7 weeks' time when Trapdoor Rugby League replaces 2 championship points. Kieran Gill, try and condense that 80 minutes, you know, in how you've seen it. Bradford nowhere near at the best, but I think when it mattered, their toughness, their resilience, their mentality, their leadership of Lawrence and Hill, it took them home.
I think it's a difficult one to describe, to be fair with you, Mick. It's a mixture of emotions, you know. We've managed to get the 2 points, and that's what we always want to come away with. But there's plenty to learn from today against Doncaster, because they are a smart opposition, and on different days they can turn over teams easily by playing the exact same performance. The error's just one. It went in our favour. The penalties conceded, it's not us, and we need to make sure that we rest up in this week off, but we come back fitter, better, stronger, because we know there's a serious push at the end of the year, and we want to be sitting as far up at that table as possible for an home game. All the fans want an home game in the playoffs, and this is what we want. We don't come on the field just to keep working. We want to win, and we want to prove points. We're here for a reason. We want to play for this club, and we want to step up as much as possible. Situations don't always go our way, but we've managed to come out of the bright side. We'll be disappointed, but being disappointed with 2 points is better than being disappointed with none, trust me. So what we'll do, we'll dust ourselves off in this week off. We'll regroup, regather, and we'll go again in the upcoming weeks against Sheffield away, because we know what we've got to do to perform and keep continuing with those 2 points. So as much as we're disappointed, we're going to celebrate it, because it is 2 points. It's a vital 2 points. The championship is a tough old season, so let's just stick with us and we'll keep doing it. And I appreciate you for having me again, Mick. You know, I always say I don't want to be up here that often, but I appreciate everyone listening and everyone staying in touch for the 80 minutes, and long may it continue.
Well, those that are joining us on 247.tv, great words, by the way, Kieran Gill, summed up superbly. Well, we saw Watson Boas give Doncaster the lead, and then just on the stroke of half-time, 20 out, Roden Michael misses Bayliss, gives the ball to Keys, and Keys, he goes past 5 Doncaster defenders. It was a crucial try, but Doncaster, right at the start of the second half, just like Bradford have done in recent wins over Oldham, Widnes and Halifax last Friday, they upset and overturned the apple cart. Ben Johnston rolling back the years, the 33-year-old standoff half, he scoring, or his second try of the season, potentially turning this one the way of the men from South Yorkshire. And then, after Chris Hill, Michael Lawrence, literally 2 minutes after they had come back on the field, all that leadership, all that experience, it was a last tackle play, Keys to Hooley, Hooley to Blake, Blake's caught high, arguably 3 or 4 metres short of the line, but tremendous commitment from Wonga Blake to score his 11th of the season. And then this was rugby league poetry, champagne rugby league of the championship variety. Bradford, that never say die attitude. It was Keys once again. He's been given the man of the match for his sphere of influence, his organisation, his fluency, his flair, his execution. Jaden Ockenbaugh squeezing over in at the corner. Try 17 of the season. And the 28-year-old former Carnegie Bulldogs man, he has now scored 9 tries in his last 6 outings. And breathe. Bradford 18, Doncaster 12, a real humdinger at Odsal. A real humdinger. And let me tell you, if you've enjoyed this one on the live stream or West Yorkshire Radio this evening, let me tell you, we do it all again on Sunday. We're heading down the M1 for that mouth-watering fixture. It has a bit of a continental flavour. London Broncos against Toulouse Olympique. We are live on air from 12:45 on Sunday at the Cherry Red Records Stadium. As always, head to 247.tv and find the Rugby League section for all the live games, all the live streams. Well, Bradford, they take a well-earned 2-week break now into their bye weekend. It'll be a fortnight tonight when we're in South Yorkshire at Olympic Legacy Park for Sheffield Eagles against the Bradford Bulls. Doncaster, they host Featherstone at the Eco Power Arena Stadium next Sunday. I do believe that is the game we are going to cover next Sunday. We will, of course, confirm that in due course, but wherever you are, it's 25 minutes to 10. We've got to head to the post-match press conferences and get Richard Horne and Brian Noble's post-match thoughts, but Bradford are through by the narrowest of margins. They made it tough, they made it difficult for themselves, but oh boy, the leadership, the experience of Michael Lawrence and Chris Hill has paid dividends. Joe Keys, a worthy recipient of the Man of the Match award, full-time here from the Betfred Championship. Bradford Bulls 18, Doncaster 12. We'll see you Sunday at the Cherry Red Records Stadium for London Broncos against Toulouse. Over and out.